Okay, so we're going to try something a little different. I don't think you can actually see me, but I'm driving home from work. It's about 3 in the morning, and got a couple things that I wanted to go through. I actually have 2 new video ideas today that I wanted to go through and put something up on the Brewster Monk page, but I don't have a lot of time because college costs money and I've got student loans to pay off, which means as soon as I get home, I have to head right to the keyboard and start hammering away at the novels I'm working on. And they're going pretty well. So I wanted to get everybody a heads up. There's going to be 2 new Brewster Monks videos. If I can talk fast and coherently, then I'll have both of them up today. And if not, then I'll have to save the other thought for the drive home tomorrow, assuming that you can hear me over the car sounds. But it's a pretty quiet car, new car, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to do that. Let's see, other news for people who follow my blog. I've got 2 students who are going to be taking their black belt test next week, and I'm really excited about that. A little nervous. Once again, I got to do some teaching myself in front of the whole region, so hopefully I don't screw anything up. Learning a good lesson about trusting God and not worrying about finances, not worrying about tomorrow. The commandment from Jesus is don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble for itself. And that's definitely proving to be true. Highway, so we'll see how loud the motor's going to get. That's definitely proving to be true. We're going to see exactly how well that goes. Because my car died 2 weeks ago. 2 days after I got a new car that I really didn't have in my budget, hit a deer. Now I'm looking at just under $3,000 to repair the brand new car, but if I don't get it repaired, can't get the hood open, so I can't do things like change the oil. Little details, right? You know? It's amazing how these things happen. So, the real interesting thing is my boss doesn't want me to get a second job. He wants to be the only employer. And it's really important to him, so like nobody who works with me can actually be a reference, no one in my current day job. So I'm going to have to use people from the martial arts crew and former coworkers from other jobs. I really don't know how any of this is going to turn out. I have no idea how I'm going to be paying the bills at the end of summer. Looking into, I guess it's illegal to sell body parts, and it's definitely illegal to sell your body as a whole. So, plus, yeah, who would want me? But maybe giving blood to help pay for the car payments, or maybe volunteering as a lab rat for medical experiments. That pays pretty good. These are things I'm looking into. That lets you know exactly where I'm at financially. But hey, God is in control, and this is when it's easy to have faith and say, oh, I'm a Christian and everything's going well, right? Everybody sticks to their guns and is very committed to their cause when it's easy. If I went to a prosperity gospel mega church, God wants your best life now. Lies, total lies. If God wanted your best life now, he wouldn't have said, pick up your, if anybody wants to follow me, if anyone wants to be my disciple, let him pick up his cross, a torture device where you die, and follow me. It isn't the idea that God's going to make everything great here on earth. The idea is, what God says in Romans 8:18, through Apostle Paul, for I consider that our current suffering isn't worth comparing to the glory that will be revealed in us. And I was translating this from the Greek, and I came across a really fun word that shows up in this and doesn't get translated into English. It's tied up with the glory, but the glory that will be, it's not to be, it's actually axios. If any of you saw Halo Unto Dawn, the live-action Halo movie before the release of Halo 4, Halo 4 Unto Dawn, where the military academy, their shout is Axios, because this is actually a famous, it's related to a military conquest and glory and honor. This quote that Paul is using, this verbiage that Paul is using, there was a general who won a great victory, but he was so popular with the army that his own government was afraid to bring him home because they thought he would take over. So they said, it is your duty to die for your country, we thank you for your victory, and now we require, the republic, the country your loyalty has, requires your death. And he says, in one word, axios, I am worthy. And this is the term, related to military conquest, military glory. He had the honor of obeying, and he fell on his sword. Now, that's not what he's saying, what Paul is saying, but Paul is using this word, this military conquering honor. If you want to think a Navy SEAL Medal of Honor, when you say that person is worthy, he's a worthy person, in Greek, you might say axios, and that is the future term tense of that is what is used in this passage, saying that the glory, it isn't just maybe, it isn't just it's gonna happen. This ties into what Paul says later on, in that we are more than conquerors in the through the power of Him who called us in His own glory and goodness. That's not a light thing in his age. The conquerors were president and king and NBA star, and God. Frequently they were worshipped as gods, all rolled into one. That's what it was to be a conqueror in Paul's world. And that is the imagery that the Greek calls up that doesn't get translated into the English. For I consider our present sufferings. And look, he's admitting there are sufferings, and he's telling this to the people in Rome, and they hadn't even started to suffer yet. This is years before the real persecution of the church got started in Rome. The Jews were killing Christians left and right, but this hadn't started as part of the official policy of the Roman Empire yet. And so I believe he's just talking about the regular sufferings of being a sinful human being, living in a world with broken and evil people, being a broken and evil person, and because we were in charge of the world and we sinned, the world is broken, and you have things like diseases and cancer and not living forever, and all of these things that weren't part of the original plan, and none of them are worth comparing to the glory that has been earned, the conqueror's glory that is waiting for us in heaven, won for us by Jesus Christ. And that's what he's saying. So I don't know if I'm not going to be bankrupt in a year. I don't know, my mom's in and out of the hospital. I don't know if she's going to be alive for Christmas. Ditto for my dad. They're just old enough where I don't know if any given holiday is the last time I'm going to see them, or if any given week is the last time I'm going to see them. And, how do I deal with that? I don't. I let God deal with it. Literally, I say, this is too big for me. I need you to handle it. And he's big enough to handle it. He doesn't make it all better like a magic wand. He's not a vending machine. But I know that he's with me through it. Right? It's like being in a storm at sea. It very much feels like I'm at a storm at sea. When I was 13 years old, when I had just turned 14, the month I turned 14 years old, we were in a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. Our boat was 30 feet. It was me, my dad, my brother Whit, and my dad and my brother Whit, when you get them together, all their common sense totally goes away. So rather than finding a safe port, they decided to sail through the edge of this hurricane. We're in a 30-foot boat. Waves are 30 to 36 feet, and if you do the math, that means the entire boat fits on the side of the wave, right? The entire boat fits on top of the wave, the entire boat fits up the wave, so the nature was bigger than the boat I was on, and when we were at the bottom of the waves, you could not see 50 feet, and when I was on the top of the waves, you saw nothing but this raging storm all the way out to the horizon. It wasn't really raining, this was just from the wind. And I literally thought I was going to die, right? I was like, I'm going to die a virgin. I'm not even going to make it to high school. Jesus, here I come. Because every time we got on the downside, the bow of the boat was pointed about 30 degrees straight down into the darkest blue I have ever seen. It is just the depths and the pits of the ocean that I was staring into. And every time we hit the bottom, I thought that was the time the hull was going to break. It wasn't going to be able to stand the force, popping it back up just as fast as we plunged down. That we were done. This went on for about 5 hours before we finally got out at the edge of the hurricane on our way back to Punta Gorda from off the coast of Mexico. And that's one of the first times that I was sure I was dead. It wasn't the very first time, because I got I almost thought I was dead on the coast of England at St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall, and I almost thought I was dead when I was in the process of getting arrested as a terrorist at 13 years old in Amsterdam, and that's a story for another day. Okay, so moral of the story is, even when you don't know what tomorrow holds, God is with you now. He knows what tomorrow is coming, and He's big enough to handle it. He may not make it go away. He may be with you through it, but He's there. Not because you deserve it, but because of what Jesus has accomplished for us. And man, as I'm almost home now, and I realize that I'm not going to get through either of the two talks I was going to do. This was just a YouTube for my channel to tell you that I was going to do two Bruce the Monk's talks. Oh my gosh. Oh, kid, you're bringing... the two thoughts came from talking with Replay Nay, who's a YouTuber who I'm trying to support and encourage, and he had one comment he said on deism that I thought was really, really, really wise for his age. I think he's in 8th or 9th grade. Really smart comment on YouTube on deism that I wanted to bounce off of, and then he said, well, I'm a deist. And I was like, okay, but I'm not going to give up on trying to convert you to the dark side. He's like, the dark side of the Force? And I've been giggling the last half of work, thinking of how awesome and easy it is to describe Jesus as my evil overlord. It's not a big stretch, except Jesus is the most awesome evil overlord ever, and that's the second talk. Right, so I'm going to tune in, I'm going to upload this while I'm hacking away at my keyboard. I've got mock exam stuff. For those of you who are in my martial arts school, I've got the mock exam with Master Oz. I'm going to be putting that up on the school's channel, so look for that. I should have that by noonish. Alright, that's it. God bless. I hope you hear me, and it isn't total noise. I didn't just waste my time. Although, if I've been driving through the middle of the night, rambling about how awesome God is, it's probably not a total waste, because I'm a Jesus freak. Alright, peace.